Coffee and Kush TV, we on the air. Talk that shit. Talk that shit. What's going on, family? I'll wait for y'all to come up in here, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm a little late, but it be like that sometime. Talk to me. What's up with you, Miss Amanda? Good to see you. Good to see you. Lord have mercy. This gonna hurt a little bit. Press 1. I say this gonna hurt a little bit. What's up with you, Shelly? My man Max, what's up with you? One time for Max.
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm gonna get you a gun. You're gonna keep that gun.
That's my nigga. Shout out to my man Max. One time for my man Max. I was just an island boy and trying to make it. What's up with you, Double Up? My man Double Up out there somewhere in the world. My man D Jack King Kush somewhere in the world. Ain't checked in potato head ass nigga in quite some time. Wonder what he doing. You still can't play the video game. Press 1. What's up, Miss Brittany? Good to see you. The Truman Show Part 2 again. I was just an island boy just trying to make it. What's up with you, Forest Glory? Top of the top, Mr. Potent. Good to see you this morning, sir. Reginald McDaniel, good to see you. Hit that like button as y'all make y'all way in. I'll wait. It's been a good experience. It's been a good week. You know, a lot of information, a lot of spontaneous information hitting the airwaves too. Press 1. Professor is in the building. What's up, Mr. Lewis? Hollow Man, what's up with you? Good to see you. Hit that like button immediately. Man, a whole influx of new information. I had to let y'all think yesterday. Boy, y'all ain't never heard nothing like that put together. Press 1. Everybody else can take claim to everything else, but y'all ain't never heard that before. And you agree with it. That's the cool thing about it. That's the cool thing about it. And realizing what type of dire situation, what a peril state, you feel me? Maritime law, riparian rights, land law, the removal of you to insert. We learned all that this week on it. Most people take whole semesters to learn that. Y'all see how we did that? Bam, 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 bam. 2-3 days is a wrap. Look, you know. People know cinema now. I'm getting videos on cinema. Look, Kev, I forgot the terms they use in cinema. People tell me. So we waking up. I know we waking up. Hit the like button. Miss Jamie Lee, shout out to you. What's up with you, Queen? Man, dude, right off from Connecticut. My God. What's up with you? Some people can't keep up with the info. They got left behind. You feel me, Bocat? No child left behind. What's up, Water World? They hit the choppy rapids. Boy, they couldn't hold on to the raft. You feel me? Brains just flopping around. Discombobulation. They brains shut down. They regress somewhere. Don't worry, we'll swoop back around and pick them up. You know? If you not staying on topic, don't even waste your time. Stay it with me. Somebody said, Kev, you got the most orderly chat room I ever seen on YouTube. If you not staying on topic, don't even try it. And if you are a male, if you got something to say, call it in. Do not argue with trolls in my chat room, because I'm always looking. Don't call in talking about, no, my man, no. That's, get up with me. Get up with me. What's up with you, King? 313 is in the building. Yeah, you would have never thought the American Red Cross, TEEPEES, you would have never thought that shit. Kev, Ro, you would have never thought we'll find Negroes in teepees. You would have never thought it was a black army and it was Hubert Herbert Hoover job to disband and get rid of, eliminate, exterminate the black army, just like I thought. Press 1.
Shame.
Hey, y'all didn't know that?
Shame.
Y'all didn't know that?
Shame.
Press 1. As soon as I find that somewhere in my Discord, I don't know where that info is right now. I call that the info line. Yeah. Bet you didn't know that. And if you gotta eliminate, exterminate a black army, press 1. That means that the army was in protection of the black nation that was here. Press 1. Make sense to you? Come on now. Come on now. I didn't graduate for nothing now. Press 1. I said I did not graduate for nothing. Come on now. Press 1. Damn. I didn't graduate for nothing now. Come on, G. Do you get me? Shit. Be on their ass. Press 1 and talking about I'm clout chasing. So what? Clout chasing in my history. So what? If I gotta use your stupid face, press 1. Y'all the ones who want to say my name. Y'all the one who want to come to my class. Y'all the ones who want to be around me. Press 1. I don't go looking for you. Although I did see Janice last night moon worshiping. Press 1. I did see that. I did see. Oh my goodness, just terrible. She sound like she need human flesh, melanated flesh to charge up something. Press what? She said it was a full moon last night. Perfect night for manifestation. They can't manifest themselves up out of slavery, but they want to manifest something. They can't manifest knowledge and wisdom, but they can manifest a spell. Man, press 1. This woman, this big old Humpty Dumpty, press 1. This big old girl right here. She's slowly bringing them big old twin sisters out. This big girl right here. I couldn't believe I had to pull my truck over. Press 1. I had to pull the truck over listening to this shit. I can't believe this shit. What the fuck is she talking about? I said, she over here moon worshiping. I'm late for a load and shit. She moon worshiping. Live in front of people. Y'all some damn moon. That's why I'm glad that I'm here. Boy, I'm glad that I'm here. It was over there. It's in. We need manifest. They know all that, but don't know they. And then you know what she said? She said that the weave people, you know, the people of a foreign nation who cut their hair off and sell it to y'all. Bro, that's one. She said they put spells on it and give it to you. Meanwhile, her hair coming all the way down here. Because we all know that ain't synthetic hair, girl. Trust me. Press what?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Connected. Press one. She gonna talk about herself live in front of everybody with a face full of makeup. But press one, just if y'all don't stop worshiping this moon stuff, you just like to be under the control of dumb stuff. And then she gonna have the nerve to, you can't fight this. This is a spiritual war. You can't fight this on your knees like this one. Well, you can't fight this is a spiritual war. You can't fight this with biscuits. What you talking about? Buttered biscuits. You can't fight this. You got to be in shape. You want to fight a spiritual war? You got to start drinking more water. And if you want to, if it's a spiritual war and it's about money and stuff like that too, on both ends, you got to put that weave down. Put that Chinese hat down that you bought from the Chinese boat at the nail shop next door to which you got your feet and nails done. You want to fight a war, you got to hit them in a pockets. Press 1. You gotta hit their ass in their pocket. You see what Jay-Z and them did for the NFL? Look at your dumb ass. Press 1. They brought all the niggas out. Good job, Jay-Z and Live Nation. Press 1. A big old stupid fest going on over there. I told y'all they're gonna give y'all these halftime show. You be back in no time. You will betray your race to go to the carnival. Boy, to fit in and watch Beckham do like this one after scoring a boy, you will spend $1,300. Press 1. Boy, to watch the Rams in LA and Snoop Dogg. Niggas ain't never sold no ticket in the last 15, 20 years up on stage, all of them at one time, brought by and now it's a legendary moment. We see them every day on Instagram. This is not amusing anymore. Press 1. The World Fair is not amusing. Not to me. Snoop Dogg still a Crip. 60 years old. That's cool to you. Crip walking like we don't see it every day. That's cool to you. Tupac, who's that? That's cool to you. Still hitting them corners. Jay-Z wrote all of that shit in the stands with a blue rag, with an LA hat, New York like this. Meanwhile, Mano and them is in New York. Press 1, Urban Conservative. Go subscribe. Meanwhile, Mano is in claiming to be the face of drill music. It didn't even start in New York. That shit started in Chicago. What are y'all doing over here? Y'all wildin', son. Everything is backward, upside down. It's like, I remember I used to be fascinated with Dr. Seuss books. Upside down Wednesdays and backward Tuesdays, and I didn't think that was gonna be real. But now, I think because I read that stupid ass book, it all makes sense. It just makes sense now. Dumbass book, dumbass world we gonna be living in. Just backwards, upside down type of shit. Shout out to y'all. Who'd ever thought the concentration camps was over here and the black army had to be eliminated, just like Kev said. Press 1. The whole damn army had to be damn eliminated.
Shame.
Is eliminated
Shame.
and exterminated the same thing?
Shame.
One fish, two fish. It's a beautiful day, G. Who'd ever thought? Concentration camp, eliminated and exterminated, the same thing. Yeah. It's just cold now because now you actually got to go down and read the shit. Oh my goodness. Remember I said Herbert Hoover looked at me. Herbert Hoover looked like Adolf Hitler. I know they played us. They played a big thing. They did something. It was a major switch going on. I said, man, fuck that. Hoover looked like all he needed is this. Just the way I looked at him. There you go, right here. Nigga took that motherfucking exterminated. Did he become president? He had a whole. See, y'all don't know Black history, and you know why they keep selling you fake Black history and corporate Black history? Because if they tell you your history, you gonna get mad. There was all type of programs going on to get you up out of here, and there still are. You should be aware of that. You should be aware of that. There's still programs like that. You should know that your enslavement did not come literally in 1492 and you was a slave. You got to know that. You got to know exactly when you became a slave. Who put you in servitude and you remained that way after a catastrophic event? I'm giving you history. Jabari's scared of me. I'm giving you history like never before. And they can't even argue it. There's no plausible deniability, if you understand what I'm saying. Literally set out and got rid of created floods and broke levees and flooded out middle America and all that. Put our people in a peril state and state of panic. So in that state of mind, they were able to get you to go work for shelter and build, and they didn't say. Them people down there in the South say, we don't need no American Red Cross. American Red Cross said, don't worry, we got a plan. Don't worry, we just come to you. And press one. Who's to say the American Red Cross wasn't a whole invading army? Because that's what it looked like. Because that's what it looked like. It started to look like all these white folk migrated themselves, tens of hundreds of thousands, and it looked like a cold extermination program to me. Yeah, I know history from your perspective says it was supposed to go like that, but I don't believe that one bit. I believe that the Holocaust happened in America, and the Native American is the American Negro, and they don't have no history because they was almost 100% completely wiped out. Because I was reading that paper from Reconstructing an Epidemic, Oxford University, Press 1. And I see now that this is a planned out event more than anything. I'm not talking about conspiracy against the United States. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about against you. And that's what I'm proving. And I don't think I can be disproven. Before I get to this video where we left off yesterday, I do want to make I do want to hold up. I do want to play something for y'all because I was listening to Sachetta. Press 1. I was listening to Sachetta, and I don't know what it is. I just caught it at the right time. He had an African man on the show. Just called in, got in. Now, you know, Sonetta, when you see an African man, he gets excited now because right now, that's like a softball. He get to sell you an African dream. Check. He get to sell you an African dream. Here, he's about to hit a home run, right? Sonetta asked this African where he from. The African man said, I'm from Liberia. That's where I was born. Sonetta said, he's so high off of African and don't know nothing.
Shame.
He just high off of just African. Oh, we got a brother from Africa. I'm trying to impersonate him. My brother. We got a brother. Hot diggity dog. We got a my brother from Africa. My man. Press 1. Stupid. He say, where's, you know what? I'm gonna let him. He said better than me. Press 1. He said, but you can't be more. I mean, it's like you can't be Kev Gills. You can't be more Kev than Kev. And you can't be more retarded than this. So listen to this, y'all.
What's happening?
Woo-wee. I've never heard the truth on Sachetta TV until this. You're going to be astounded. Because the truth was told. The truth that we telling over here that we built Africa. My race. Press 1. We gave the Moors Morocco. Press 1. But they talking about this. They're busted. They're done. We made that for them. And I'm glad that I was here to prove it. Shout out to my main man, Side Chatter. Listen to this, y'all.
On twice. 10 toes down. What's happening? And I give you the boot. You are out of here. Okay, let me see who we got here. What's going on, Sekou? What's happening, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Oh, man. What part of Africa you from? Please say West Africa. Where you from?
I'm from Liberia.
Oh, man. Beautiful, brother. Talk to us about Liberia. How is it out there? Where you at right now? What barrel you in right now?
I'm in Canada, actually, but I'm from Liberia originally.
Beautiful. Shout out to Liberia. All Liberia. You already know what it is. Talk to us a little bit about Liberia.
Yeah, Liberia was founded in the 1800s by Black Americans who decided to return. So in the 1800s, there was a movement.
Oh, come on, brother. Come on, Sekou. You went out just now and you came back. Come on, talk to us.
So in the 1800s, when slavery ended, there were Black Americans who decided that they want to resettle in Africa.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Let's say that again. They said he wanted to reset. What? Shanetta disconnected him. Y'all heard?
10 toes, is this what's going on?
Lay down, please.
Shanetta tried to disconnect him. He like, oh man.
10 toes down,
and
what's happening?
And he still told it.
Going once.
This is sad. This is sad.
10 toes down, what's happening?
We built that place.
Going twice.
We lifted them up.
10 toes down, what's happening? And I give you the boot. You are out of here. Okay, let me see who we got here. What's going on, Sekou? What's happening, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Oh, man. What part of Africa you from? Please say West Africa. Where you from?
I'm from Liberia.
Oh, man. Beautiful, brother. Talk to us about Liberia. How is it out there? Where you at right now? What barrel you in right now?
I'm in Canada, actually, but I'm from Liberia originally.
Beautiful. Shout out to Liberia. All Liberia. You already know what it is. Talk to us a little bit about Liberia.
Yeah, Liberia was founded in the 1800s by Black Americans who decided to return. So in the 1800s, there was a movement.
Oh, come on, brother. Come on, Sekou. You went out just now and you came back. Come on, talk to us.
So in the 1800s, when slavery ended, there were Black Americans who decided that they want to resettle in Africa.
We built Europe.
So when they came, they founded a country called Liberia, which means the land of liberty and freedom. So they founded Liberia, and Liberia was the first independent Black nation in Africa after Ethiopia.
Who were the...
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Not like this. Not like this.
We are the free people. Press 1. I told you we went over there and we built up that, and the French fought us. They defeated. The French fought us. They caught us off guard over there building up North Africa. Remember the Hellfighters? Remember I was telling y'all about the French? Watch what he say. Watch what he say.
the enslavers of Liberia.
Who are the slavers of Liberia is what this fool said. He said black Americans built it. This fool talking about who was the enslavers in Liberia. He said black Americans built it. This fool said that's why the black community is like children. They really don't know. You brought freedom to the world. France and these European folk, this was a grand coup. Okay, get your military off, humanitarian off the war, supposedly, but you weren't off in no war. You was over there building that shit up over there.
Come again with the question?
Who were the slave masters in Liberia?
Look, he said, who was the slave master over there? That black man said, who? What? Press 1. The African said, who this? That don't make sense. Oh, you going with... Listen to this shit, y'all.
Liberia was founded in the 1800s by black Americans who decided to return. So in the 1800s, there was a movement.
Marcus Garvey. Remember that? Remember Marcus Garvey was trying to... Oh, that was your military. They gave you that little... Marcus Garvey's a French. That was French gear. You didn't go over there. You lost. Go there, the French. This was some bullshit.
Oh, come on, brother. Come on, Sekou. You went out just now and you came back. Come on, talk to us.
So in the 1800s, when slavery ended, there were black Americans who decided that they want to resettle in Africa. Mm-hmm. So when they came, they founded a country called Liberia, which means the land of liberty and freedom.
So they wanted to go back, is what he said. They wanted to go to Africa, even though let's just deal with the story. All right. That's way out of slavery time for you. Press 1.
So
Liberia, when they founded Liberia, do you know that was before what? That was before what? When did they found Liberia? And what was that before? Emancipation Proclamation? Was that before all of your little... Okay.
Liberia, and Liberia was the first independent black nation in Africa after...
And in its colors, red, white, blue. Press 1. Civil what? Mitchell Silliman, civil what? Mitchell, civil what?
Ethiopia.
Who were the masters, the enslavers of Liberia?
Come again with the question?
Who were the slave masters over there in Liberia?
You mean after the African Americans arrived?
Right.
Where the African Americans were not enslavers when they arrived.
Oh my goodness!
Actually, they met a lot of mess on the ground. They were colonial masters.
They met a lot of mess on the ground. All these nations is fighting with each other. As soon as they get there, press 1. Press 1. You wasn't no slave. And nor was you an enslaver. When you got there, they ran into a huge, stupid French and all this shit. We come in with freedom. It is the first free nation. When they got back, their nation is tarnished. How? That's when I asked that question at the end of 2022. I'm going to have so many people that know who, what, where, when, why, and most important, how. You're going to be able to pinpoint it. They're not going to be able to loud talk you. They're going to be so above the ignorance. To prove somebody ignorant, you just got to upgrade your knowledge. That's it. That's all you got to do. Upgrade your knowledge. The African tell him,
all around. And
There you go.
some African chiefs were selling out, were actually collaborating with the European to sell people.
Oh, so the French and the African was tribes were into trafficking. This is easy. Come on. Just that alone. Just that alone. That is the truth. I gave it to you, and because I gotta give it to you. Under mind control, Confederate thought process. I gotta destroy complex after complex. But now you're fully exposed to the info. The African come and tell you, "Oh no, y'all came for help. Press one, y'all came and gave everybody freedom. Yeah, shame. Boy, without y'all,
shame,
boy." But then catastrophe happened. You are not a slave. You are the freedom fighters. Press one. That's who you with. The men of bronze. Strong of them. Freedom. Freedom, G. Don't the Bill of Rights and Constitution sound like black people want to be free? Who gonna be free? And it's gonna be free forever? This is how you do it? Somebody will have to steal Pittsburgh, steal it from you. You know, the sad thing is you got black folk on the internet like Sachetta who mind it's either way it's demonic. But his mind, they mind don't either don't know or don't show. It's just retarded. That's the best question you got. Who was the enslaved? It's like you're forcing. You want to be a slave that bad? Damn. You black power people want to be a damn slave, want to identify yourself. That's a black curse. Press one, that's a curse. You just gotta be a slave. You just need an excuse to be ignorant. That's all it is. You just need a damn excuse to act the way that you do in your lower form, in your beastly self. And I don't care. That's what people choose to do. That's what people choose to do. They don't want to show no progress year after year after year or better them than last year and before that. That shows growth. They just every year just stupid. I got people who still troll me to this day from the first month I started. They don't know how to grow past. You know? Now we dealing with whole concentration camps. Has anybody been studying POW camps in America? German, American, all of these videos. This is what they took my channel down for. Because I started showing y'all that. You know? I started showing y'all that. I gave y'all the blueprint yesterday. Boy, I gave y'all the blueprint yesterday. That was a gang of info. A gang of info. These folks really set out to destroy us. Was we taking notes yesterday? You know, I don't know if anybody was, but man, you should have. You should have. Press one. You should have been taking notes. Hold on, I need to take a small break real quick.
Would ruin them financially.
The planters believed that if the African Americans went to another camp or whatever, they wouldn't be able to get them back to their plantations. They were afraid some of the workers would skip out on them.
The planters appeal to Percy's father, U.S. Senator Leroy Percy, the most powerful planter in the county. Leroy agrees. The black sharecroppers should not be evacuated.
So he talked at length with his son. His son refused to reverse his position.
But the Relief Committee now also sides with the planters and Leroy Percy.
Maybe need to be
Faced with such opposition, William Percy concedes. He can't.
Now you know who the planters are. Press 1. So don't let these pictures fuck you up. Don't let that video fuck you up. You know who the planters are. Press 1. Don't let these pictures fuck you up. We know this is at a camp. So we know there will be no reason why the federal government will agree with the planters just to let them no, hell no. They went and they reported back, they not caving. Catastrophe, but they ain't caving. They won't move them into the camps. This Herbert Hoover and shit. Press 1. Hey Lynn, Amanda, could you send me that Herbert Hubert? Oh, I got it. Never mind. That's Herbert work. That's your Adolf Hitler right there. I don't care about no Aboriginal. Sit down in my classroom and don't say nothing about no Aboriginal, nothing. You getting a history. You ain't nothing without God. So sit down. Care about you being no Aboriginal. The Aboriginal gonna lead you right over there to moon worship and howling around and doing worshiping Pan some damn where in the woods. Press 1. We got the best class, bro. This ain't no YouTube page. It's a university for the elect, fool. You can't be stupid over here. You got to be in the process of change. I don't care what you're doing, just change. Change will come in the form of how you speak and how you dilate. That's why I tell people call so I can hear your deception lying ass. Press 1. I know y'all be sitting back like, here he goes. It's a trick. Don't call. Ain't no damn trick. You just scared to call. You ain't been studying. Taylor, they don't study. They don't study to show they self-approve to they self. Just to show they self-approve, period, in the world. They don't study at all. But that's all right, though. I got them, too. That's how I found the TEEPEES. Press 1. Don't matter. We got them, too. It take a minute. They had to devise a plan. Somebody need to write this down. They needed to devise a plan. How would the Red Cross do this? The German Red Cross do this? Well, they needed a plan. Press 1. They ain't budging.
Cancels the evacuation. To appease the planters, he comes up with another plan.
Percy decided to instead propose that Greenville become sort of the distribution center for Red Cross.
It ain't just Percy, it's the whole unit behind Percy. Press 1. Percy gonna get it done. Percy gonna tell them do this, negotiate this.
Supplies.
Wherever that comes, you coming under the power of the. Woo.
Percy's new plan, all aid for the region will be shipped to Greenville, then unloaded and transshipped elsewhere.
Remember we was watching in World War II videos and then people was moving around stuff. We were like, why they look suspicious? And somebody was like, that's probably ammo, military stuff. Oh my goodness. Y'all help us. Help us, please.
And of course, they would need a labor force to do that, and that labor force would come from those black people on the levees.
The black sharecroppers would be forced to provide labor without pay. Those who managed to survive the flood must now face a harsh new reality: being treated as slaves. That's coming up next on When Weather Changed History. April 1927. In the days after the enormous levee break at Mound Landing, the Mississippi floodwaters continued to surge south. By late April, the flood ravages more than 15 million acres in Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. 600,000 people in the region are homeless. The flood has now surpassed all others on record, becoming one of the worst natural disasters in American history.
In 1927, a flood was front-page news.
Look, and Todd, you're absolutely right. Being treated as slaves, family. Being treated as slaves.
It was a massive story. And of course, the plight of the refugees was a big part of this story.
The plight of the refugees. Were they refugees, family? No. Were they refugees? No. They've been trying to call you a refugee this whole time.
Roughly 1 million Americans were flooded in that year, and that was almost 1% of the entire population.
You want to displace a whole nation? Call them refugees. Start calling them. It's such a. It's racist.
Now surpassed all others on record, becoming one of the worst natural disasters in American history.
In 1927, a flood was front-page news. It was a massive story. And of course, the plight of the refugees was a big part of this story.
Roughly 1 million Americans were flooded in that year, and that was almost 1% of the entire population of the country.
1% of the entire population. Well, that's pretty much what you needed. 1%. Press 1. Who understand what they needed? 1%.
From coast to coast, concerned Americans donate their time, clothing, and more than $17 million toward the immense relief effort. Despite this outpouring of charity,
Y'all saw that? Oh my goodness.
nowhere is the plight of flood victims worse than in Greenville, Mississippi. $1 million toward the immense relief effort.
Press 1. You see that? Press 1. That's force now. You see that cop right there? Military right there? Each one of them. Go. 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 It's like stepping into a concentration camp. Because it is a concentration camp. That's force. You go to the camp. I got 100% proof. This is the proof. You go to the camp, flood them out. You gonna get this. How do you exterminate people? You do crazy stuff. Our people was done like that. They'll say the Native American, but that's us. That little plight y'all put on everybody, that's us. You know, and it's time you step into that and you know that that's you. You know. At this time, this is one of the most racist times in America. These folk was crazy at this time. But
despite this outpouring of charity, rumors of abuse begin to circulate throughout the network of Red Cross relief camps.
You see that? No, these are the people who was holding cotton and doing all this. They just never left the land.
Nowhere is the plight of flood victims worse than in Greenville, Mississippi. In many ways, the treatment of displaced black sharecroppers in Greenville resembles slavery, which had been abolished more than 60 years earlier.
It was slavery. That is slavery. Not just it was abolished 60 years earlier.
In order to receive food rations, blacks must supply free labor to to prove their eligibility, they have to wear labor ID tags. The share.
Press 1. You see the just like the who, just like the Jews. Press 1. You gotta label them. In order to receive help from the government, you had to work for free. In order to receive help from the federal government, aka the Red Cross, aka the invading army, you had to work for free. So you had to be a slave. Now that's not the World's Fair. You see the difference? That's not the World's Fair. You see the difference? That's real. You understand? That's real. That's real. So this is what happened to you. What they said happened right there in Germany. Just think of Germany right here. That's all you got to think about, because that's what happened. All them little movies you seen about Schindler's List, that's Herbert Hoover in there. I know that hurt. I was like, wait a minute. We gonna get to it.
Croppers are forced to help unload Red Cross relief supplies, fortify the damaged levees, and assist with the immense cleanup effort, all without pay.
So they fixed the whole thing.
The Greenville camp, on a narrow stretch of land on top of a levee, was set up with the assistance of the Red Cross under the direction of 42-year-old attorney William Percy.
There was a lot of political power behind Percy, as well as a lot of economic power. In a lot of ways, people described his running of the camp as him having absolute control.
Percy established the camp after being pressured by his father, U.S. Senator Leroy Percy. The elder Percy sided with local planters who were afraid of losing their sharecropping workforce. William Percy is angry with his father, and it's reflected in the way he runs the camp.
He was basically in charge of the distribution of food to all these people, and he could not take out this great anger that he felt.
I also want y'all to know that these people narrating your history are all Jews. Russian, Polish, they're all Jews. They know their story in the Holocaust and your story. These people are like geniuses when it comes to being on camera telling these stories on what happened. They are the dictators of the narrative.
Over his father's betrayal on his father, so he started taking it out on the people in the refugee camps. They suddenly became essentially his slave labor.
Percy even tries to force African Americans living outside the camp to work for free. During the flood, teenager John Wiley takes refuge in a two-story building in Greenville. He stays out of sight to avoid being forced into labor.
We used to hide. We used to never go outside. The police would go around through the city picking up people, making them work on the levee.
The Greenville camp is one of 154 Red Cross relief camps set up throughout the region. These camps house more than 500,000 black farm laborers and their families, and less than 55,000 whites.
Just like Anne Frank. Yes, ma'am. Can you say Diary of Anne Frank? They come in. Where the kids at? It's hitting around. Where these boys at? Get open up right now. Just like that. Just like that. That's how traumatic. That's why your people can't tell you what happened. That's how traumatic it was. They were little girl, little boy. That scared the living shit out of them.
Within the confines of the camps, segregation and exploitation are common.
Facts. Black and white folk. White here, black here. That stuff come from like this type of mentality. like jail type of stuff. This is the perfect place where you can pull this shit off. Start indoctrinating what they better be slaves from. You think of us as authoritative figures when you see me out here. That type of mentality.
Red Cross relief is done within the context of Jim Crow laws, which govern race relations in the South.
The camps reflected and reproduced the racial realities of the time period in the different treatment of black and white refugees. And it really became a place where local plantation owners would oftentimes have a say in how the camps were run.
We're talking about 1927 in the era of segregation and discrimination. So when the relief started, first of all, the whites got the tents and the cots and the better food and the better clothing.
In the black relief camps, people got very meager portions of food.
How could this still be after the Civil War, after independence, after World War I? How could this be? Press one? How could that be? How could y'all still treat these people that way after Independence Day, after Civil War, after World War I, after and you still so it's a cold game.
The types of food that they got was very low in terms of the nutritional scale.
While displaced whites receive meat and canned fruits, blacks get rations of bread and molasses. Making the camp conditions worse is another change in the weather. The heavy rains and unseasonably cold temperatures subside, only to be replaced with sweltering heat. Temperatures soar. These high temperatures speed up the decomposition of dead fish floating in the floodwaters. The stench is unbearable. Those who are stranded can't escape the weather and can't leave the camps either. National Guardsmen, brought in to help preserve order, keep the blacks confined to the camps. Such is not the case in the white camps.
In the white camp, they provided kind of an advisory and supervisory kind of role, but in the African American camps, they were armed and they oftentimes prevented blacks from leaving and entering the camps on a free basis.
The guardsmen do not allow...
Like the movie Life. That's why you go to Foot Locker and all that shit is like that right there. They enslaved them for real.
Displaced blacks to leave the camps without the permission of a planter.
They were very much sort of helping to provide the enforcement mechanism that would keep African Americans in their places. And if you stepped out of place, you would have to pay, and you would have to pay oftentimes by a confrontation with the National Guardsmen.
The reason they were kept in the camps was so that the planters would have access to them when the water went down. And
yes, a change in the weather. That's a lot different from the weather changed. Press one. So it was a change in the weather. So people got to know the difference in terminology. Thank you, Mark.
Only the planters could get them out.
The planters also exploit the sharecroppers through the distribution of Red Cross relief supplies.
The people who are in charge of the running of the camp and the distribution of those supplies, those would oftentimes be local planters, local plantation owners, who would oftentimes use those provisions in order to exercise control over sharecroppers and tenant farmers who were in the camps.
Accusations of corruption circulate when white planters begin to stockpile Red Cross aid and then sell the goods to black sharecroppers on credit.
They learned that they could manipulate federal relief to their own advantage. The planters would take the food and distribute it to their help, but they put it on their bill.
The planters' methods generate income for themselves while keeping sharecroppers in debt. African Americans in relief camps are not the only ones who feel discrimination. As the flood crest moves south, New Orleans, the biggest city in the region, is directly in its path. Here, poor whites.
Now, if y'all notice,
bill.
The planters' methods generate income for themselves while keeping sharecroppers in debt. African Americans in relief camps are not the only ones who feel discrimination.
Now, where are all the young men at? Press 1. Where are all the able bodies? Say it with me. Where are all the young men?
As the flood crest moves south, New Orleans, the biggest city in the region, is directly...
You see that right there? This Trinity logo or whatever this crest is on the Men of Bronze sleeves.
In its path. Here, poor whites also face a harsh reality, resulting from a decision by the city's business elite. In the 1920s, New Orleans was the economic and financial hub of the South.
New Orleans was by far the wealthiest city in the South. It had literally double or triple the economic activity of Atlanta, of Houston, of Dallas, of Charlotte.
New Orleans' large shipping port connects the country's interior to the international market. The city is run by a powerful group that includes bankers, the mayor, and the
international market
governor.
Any questions?
Flood preparations have been underway for more than a month. Still, the group is afraid the approaching crest could ruin their city, which lies below sea level. So they come up with a plan to divert the floodwater.
The banking community in the city wanted to make a definitive statement that they would never allow the Mississippi River to flood New Orleans, and they had the political power to ensure that.
They proposed to dynamite a section of the levee to create an artificial break or crevasse.
The thought was that if you make a crevasse south of New Orleans, it's like pulling the plug in the bathtub. It's going to drain the water through that, and therefore the river will fall and New Orleans will be spared.
Saving New Orleans, however, would be done at the expense of poor whites who live in two neighboring communities, St. Bernard and Plaquemines Parish. Those communities would be intentionally flooded without their approval. That's coming up next on When Weather Changed History.
It brings in the disparity between rich and poor, who could escape the flood and who couldn't.
April 1927. As the massive Mississippi River flood crest moves south, several levees collapse and send floodwater crashing down on the land below. Within days, large portions of Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana are underwater. In towns throughout the region, residents do their best to maintain a level of normalcy despite the disaster. Residents use boats to get around. Some towns build raised walkways for pedestrian traffic. One ingenious man even turns his boat into a mobile barber shop. As the flood crest approaches New Orleans, powerful city and business leaders hatch a plan to divert the water into two neighboring communities, St. Bernard and Plaquemines parishes. Those communities are home to the area's poorest white residents. Most who live in these parishes work as fishermen and trappers in the fertile marsh. City leaders view the wetlands as underdeveloped. Displacement of those who live here, they say, would be for the greater good of saving New Orleans.
Yeah, those two parishes were chosen because most of the people there were poor and were not on the scale of what New Orleans thought it was. They have sophisticated.
Get them right up out of there.
Urbane, and so forth. These were expendable people.
April 27th. Following a series of closed-door meetings, New Orleans leaders secure state and federal approval for their plan. There is one condition.
That's crazy. That these buildings right here Look just like the buildings that was destroyed in World War II.
April 27th.
Look, now look at that. Look at them buildings in the back. Don't that look like a Morocco, a dome in the back? Anybody see that? So they talking about Tartaria. Look at this. Look in the back. Mud floods, who can do stuff like... I'm proving everything right now. Please, y'all, they didn't kill them white people. They got them white folk right up out of there. Put them on trains, got them right up out of there. Moved them westward. You see it? You see that dome in the back? Look at this Grand Victorian Cathedral right here. Now this is in the 20s. Now you think that was built 10 years before that flood? 20 years, 50 years? Get out of town. We've been here. We've been here. We've been here. And these people talking about mud for who Tartaria in Asia, and they had this Grand Victorian style. That's us, G. The damn Addams family. Go ahead.
Following a series of closed-door meetings, New Orleans leaders secure state and federal approval for their plan. There is one condition. The city must agree to pay reparations to the victims.
The president of every bank in the city, the president of every business association in the city, the mayor, every member of the city council, they all signed a written pledge that they would make full restitution for any losses.
New Orleans gives the residents of St. Bernard and Plaquemines Parish 2 days to evacuate. With little time to pack, residents must leave nearly everything behind. Edward Nunez, then 19 years old, lived with his family in a modest one-bedroom house in St. Bernard Parish. He recalls his parents' fears.
They were worried, yeah. Because you're leaving everything back. Furniture, everything in the house, some clothes. That's all we could take, some clothes.
On April 29th, engineers dynamite a section of Carnarvon Levee, located 13 miles below New Orleans Canal Street. The first explosion throws dirt into the air, but only creates a small hole. 48 hours later, a significant section collapses after a diver plants dynamite in front of the levee. 250,000 cubic feet of water per second flows out of the river onto the land below. The river water level goes down. For wealthy New Orleans, the threat of flood is gone. But for residents of St. Bernard and Plaquemines Parish, the deluge is just beginning. Edward and his brother travel by boat to see the devastation firsthand.
Oh, man. Go to the prairie, all straight across. No land at all, you know?
We take a ferry straight across.
These photographs,
no land,
shot by a local photographer.
Press one. Press one. We took a ship. We took a ferry straight across. We was all through there. No, they did this. This was a big one. And they brought ships in, just like we said. That man said, we brought them. I took a ferry straight through there. There was no land at all.
Were taken as evidence of the flood damage. Residents plan to submit them with their reparation claims. The murky floodwater covers 600 square miles of St. Bernard and Plaquemines Parish. 12,000 people are homeless. But when residents of the flooded parishes begin to file their claims with the city of New Orleans, they make a startling discovery. The city refuses to honor its promise.
New Orleans done us dirty, man. They double crossed us. They were supposed to pay us off. They didn't.
In the end, the city breaks its promise to pay reparations. Officials reject countless claims or pay paltry sums on those they do accept. On average, each family receives less than $300 for their losses.
Do you see how they put all of reparation to white people? They put that story all on white people, when it's clear that's you.
In the weeks that follow, city and business leaders come under sharp attack in the press for protecting the city's financial interests at the expense of others. Nearly 10,000 people who live in St. Bernard and Plaquemines parishes lose everything. In many areas throughout Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana, the floodwater remains until July. That's 4 months after the first levee break at Mound Landing. Finally, the water has drained off the land. In total, the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 inundates nearly 17 million acres in 7 states.
Geographically, the 1927 flood was possibly the biggest flood in American history. And from Cairo to the Gulf, it just wreaked enormous havoc and included an enormous amount of land.
The flood directly affects roughly 1 million Americans.
It was devastating, and it just disrupted everything that was civilization at that time as people knew it.
As people return to their homes, considerable work lies ahead.
People describe going back to their homes as just so sad. For one thing, the water that went through their homes and the mud that caked their homes smelled really bad. The smells were not only the smells of the house and the mud, but of course rotting carcasses of animals.
I think for sharecroppers in the camps, there was a sense that they had lost so much. They had lost perhaps the opportunity for economic advancement, or at least the opportunity in order to continue along the same economic path that they had been on for so many years.
They didn't know if they would be able to produce any cotton or sugar for that year. They didn't know what the land looked like when they would get back to it. There was just a lot of doubts in their mind about what the future would bring for them.
With so many people hurt by the disaster, Americans begin to reconsider their views on the government's responsibility for providing relief.
If you measure public sentiment by letters to the editor and newspaper editorials and things like that, this was a sea change, a watershed moment.
After the flood, the federal government expands its role in disaster relief, agreeing to provide money and manpower in times of natural catastrophes.
And made people think that the federal government actually had a major responsibility to help citizens when they were in serious distress through no fault of their own.
The flood also leads to a profound shift in national politics.
I think it precipitated sort of the movement of African Americans from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party.
That's next, in the conclusion of When Weather Changed History. After the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927, reminders of the devastation lingered. In Scott, Mississippi, the raging currents that ripped through the Mound Landing levee dug a 100-foot deep hole in the fertile delta soil. Today, those waters are still there as part of a beautiful lake known as a blue hole. The flood of 1927 changed the political landscape as well. In 1928, Republican Herbert Hoover won the presidency. His success in leading the flood relief effort won him votes.
Why he looked like Hitler to me, I don't care what none of y'all say. There go a little fake Hitler over there to the right. Y'all see that? I don't care what none of y'all say. Herbert Hoover.
Unknown caller.
Just like this other dude with the little mustache over there. To me, I've been looking for American Hitler. Trust me, who put black people in concentration camps. This is what I've been looking for. This dude right here. And I already know how, I'm wondering how did we end up as black Confederates? You feel me? Cairo University. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's
Moolah Millions from Warsaw,
What
Indiana. Hey, bro, it was all for a political change, just like you just said. And I'm just sitting here laughing, like, wow. So they release levies to make certain towns flood just so they can have more political power.
Yeah, but you got to get your breathing patterns together. Yeah, we already know that. Stop calling me repeating the same shit. Come up with new stuff, or don't call at all. I really don't. Yeah, stop calling if you ain't mentally cool. You do that all the time. You don't do nothing but repeat what's being said. So what?
It's across the South. He benefited from the traditional support of African Americans.
African Americans had a historic allegiance to the Republican Party, which was seen as the party of Lincoln, the party that ended slavery, the party of emancipation.
Hoover gained even more support from African Americans when he promised to look into allegations of refugee camp abuses. He also pledged to develop new land appropriation programs. But Hoover never followed through on land proposals. The broken promises angered African Americans.
This is the highway robbery. Your whole robbery came through a catastrophe. You always want to know how you became a slave? Press 1. Don't let these people from foreign nations like Carino across the water somewhere tell you about some anthropology he know nothing about some damn monkey man in America putting you back under white supremacy. These people are sick. Something's wrong with these individuals. You feel me? And we here to find out, how did we become this, right? Are we on a hot trail or what? When I get finished, you're going to be able to say, that's when it happened. There may be a flood that happened before 1927, but I tell you one thing. I tell you what. This is when it happened. So let's go.
In the years to come, blacks would leave the Republican Party by the thousands and switch their allegiance to the Democrats.
You can't vote. If you come to this right here, you got to vote for. You got to vote. You better vote whites only. You better go up in there and vote for what we tell you to. Press 1. That's why them guards is up there like that. Them was all little FEMA towns.
He turned his back on these people, and it was such a betrayal that, the emotional connection between the African American leadership and the Republican Party was broken forever.
Hoover wasn't the only one whose image was tarnished by the flood. The city of New Orleans damaged its reputation when it deliberately flooded St. Bernard and Plaquemines parishes.
Deliberately.
That decision reflected the city's willingness to allow powerful men to take advantage of those less fortunate.
Awful.
One of the things that the flood of 27 exposed is the disparity of wealth and circumstance in the United States.
The bitterness lingered for generations. So much so that in 2005, when Hurricane Katrina flooded New Orleans, rumors circulated that the levee along the lower 9th Ward had been sabotaged.
There are many members of the African American community who believe that it did happen, and they point to what happened in 1927, saying, well, they did it once, that's proof they do it again.
The 1927 flood did inspire a major change in flood management policy. Congress passed the Flood Control Act in 1928, which led to the creation of new flood control measures designed to reduce stress on the levee system.
Since that time, we've got the system along the Mississippi built up with reservoirs, floodways, and levees such that if 27 were repeated, we could control that event today.
The whole levee system was strengthened, and if the water got so high and it would go down a spillway.
The flood ended the debate over how you deal with rivers forever, all over the world. You have to accommodate great rivers. You cannot dictate to them.
When you're talking about weather, you never know what Mother Nature's going to throw at you there.
Press 1. People got to understand. That's where they start. So you got to understand rations and stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? When they start treating you this way, you're coming from a very dire situation, especially in the South, where those rich and powerful men overpowered even local government with local buyouts. When it comes to, I don't even think it was local government. I think that wherever the Red Cross showed up, they maintained control of whatever was going on. You know, when you're dealing with powerful people like the Rockefellers behind all that. Rothschild and stuff like that. Press 1. Now, since we reading, since we are watching, reading and talking about Herbert Hoover, I want to point y'all to how this guy really is. You know, this is a report. Let me show you guys this real quick. I'm gonna read this. We've been doing a lot of reading. 424-209-9506. Keep it on the subject matter. Please. Please, please, please. Press 1. A little report that was found by one of my colleagues, of course. Let's read it. Most people know Herbert Hoover as one of the worst presidents in the nation's history, a conservative Republican who led the country in the Great Depression. If they only knew the real impact Hoover had, they would be shocked. Up until Herbert Hoover, a majority of African Americans had supported the Republican Party.
Unknown caller.
Hold on. Let me get this.
Have to press 1.
Hold on a sec. Up until Hoover, the majority of African Americans supported the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln. Hoover changed all that by his lily white policy. Study that. A plan devised to get African Americans out of the Republican Party and bring it. So here is your Willie Lynch guy here. Lily White. Willie Lynch policy to plan and advise to get them out of that. So he pretended to be a Republican. He's responsible for developing the Southern strategy that Nixon, Reagan, and Bush would later embrace. That's the Daughters of the Confederacy. Oh my goodness, this is white supremacy. He turned the party into big business. He turned the party of big business into the white man's party. Herbert Hoover was a white supremacist. He believed blacks were inferior and wanted to get rid of the blacks from the position of authority and power in the Republican Party. Hoover's racism is manifest in his response in the Great Mississippi Flood in 1927. His Supreme Court picks and his Patreons would strip blacks of power. He even fought against anti-lynching bills. Crazy. Anti-lynching laws. Another example of Hoover's racism and how he selected General Douglas MacArthur, study him, to reorganize the army, and then watched over as the most famous black military unit in the country was eliminated. I said another example of Hoover's racism, how he selected General Douglas MacArthur to reorganize the army and watch over as the most famous black military unit was eliminated. He enforced segregation in the military. So these are white supremacists here. Now, are we reading about a black army unit who was eliminated for the birthright? I told you. I told you, ain't no such thing and no coincidences. There ain't no such thing. The Harlem Hellfighters of World War I. Press 1. Remember, these guys was eliminated by their own military men, charged with frivolous crimes, hanged right there in France. Press 1. at the Vatican, on Vatican City, in Vatican City. Press 1. This is facts. Read it. Emmett Till dad was a hellfighter. He was hanged in France. Remember I told y'all about them skulls over in France? Remember I told you the Saints? When the Saints go marching in. I told you that Trinity, the Saints. The New Orleans Saints, the Hellfighters from Harlem. It wasn't just the Harlem, it was the men of bronze. It was the whole black military. The Hellfighters represent not just in Harlem, they represent the black military that was here before they lost in France and was betrayed by their own military force. Got your ass, see? See? There was a band. It was a military band as well. You got to do your research on that stuff. It ain't just about Emmett Till, the little dude, and civil rights and the sacrifice of Emmett Till. It's about his father. And how his father was one of the initial ones who gave their lives for the freedoms of the world. Press 1. If there was a army unit to play the role of Christ on earth, it would be the men of bronze. It would be the Harlem Hellfighters. Press 1. You understand what I'm saying? This military unit had to be tricked, and through they was over there building up another nation, North Africa. The North Africans betrayed these brothers with European nations. Remember the African dude said when the Americans got there, when the black Americans got there, it was a whole fucking, they was fighting this person, it was a whole mess over there. You couldn't tell who is who. That's why I was asking, like, how they come under the power of King Leopold? That was the most murderous dude when it came to black people. Well, when you got people standing by to watch it, a coup d'etat, there you go. They bringing military in by way of Red Cross, POW camps, Germany, all this crazy shit going on. You know, people you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. Study all that right there. Study that, because we studying how they set out to do this. This is 1862, 1868, reconstructing an epidemic. Pages and pages of what they did and how to acknowledge it. All this was going on at the same time. We thought we were slaves. No, that story come from the concept of these German folk who was observing the camps and wanted to come up with your history for the future. Why a history for the future? Because they need to tell what really about to happen to you. What about to happen to us? Go up in there and might tell you. Go on over there and take a shower or something. You're going to see. You may not, but we got to come up with something. Then comes all of this corporate history and the scramble of Africa and coming up with Africa and all this. This is after America. What happened to Liberia? Why it ain't worth nothing? That's when they took us down. Press 1. We formed the first free nation in Africa. We did that. People who look like me and you. Press 1. We formed the first free nation in Africa. We went to Africa. They didn't go with us. They came up with a story that we wasn't welcome in the military. We went to Africa. You feel me? I told you, why he taking the medals off those guys like that? It looked like they was putting them, like, that's crazy. We was looking at them brothers, them hellfighters like that, under that infringement, under King Leopold and these people who humiliate blacks and shit like that. Like, y'all, I realize we got more to fight for than go back to Africa theory and black. No, there's been a cold operation done on us. You know, a cold operation. These are, and when I did that show about the Titanic, who's to say they didn't take them over there on the Titanic or something and sink them or whatever the fuck? These people was playing multiple roles. Press 1. Stolen valor. Exactly. They came back like, hey, remember Marcus Garvey? That's why Sinetta cut that dude off. They tried to make it seem like Marcus Garvey had a way for us to get back to Africa. No, it was already going down. We was doing this in the 1800s, bruh. We building whole nations. And if we built that nation, who you think built this one? Don't be a fool now. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
Hi, Kev. This is Michelle from Cali.
What's up, Michelle?
I just wanted to say this is crazy because I was trying to figure out how they were able to bring their military and Navy and military wives and things like that over here at the same time.
Yes.
And when I started looking into it, because remember before I brought up Queen Mary, and so when I started researching, I noticed that it was a luxury ship at first, and then they converted it to bringing military over.
Yeah.
And that was around the same time that these floods were happening in New Orleans, and around the same time that the Red Cross was here. Yes. Because remember I was telling you yesterday, they had Homeland Security, military, like all of it, the Navy, you know, Marines, all of that there, like a lot of military on site during the time that the flood happened in Houston for Harvey. So this is how they used under the guise without anybody suspecting that they were coming as relief aid. And then they were using these ships to bring people over here, but they were really over here to control us and take over. So that's crazy.
Yes,
and
it's how they did it. It's what's crazy.
Yes, and they've done it multiple times before, because I was wanting to know how Israel ended up in bondage when they were in Egypt, because, you know, the same referred to us being put into slavery again into Egypt with ships. So when I started researching and looking,
Egypt means bondage.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so when I realized that how they put them in bondage was that they tricked them into working together with them to fortify their city. And then so eventually, a little bit at a time, they started promoting their own people from being workers to being taskmasters over the people of Israel. And then that's when they switched the tables to now you're working for free and you're not getting paid anything. And that's where the bondage and the slavery started. And they started using their family and kids against them to force them
the federal
to work.
Government and the Red Cross created slavery.
Yes. What they did was they tricked them because if you're in your own place and you have that kind of devastation going on, of course you're going to want to fortify your city and work to build it and things like
effort.
that.
But it's really
exactly.
But it's really a military coup, and we coming to see what's going on. Go ahead.
Right, and it's really bondage for the people, and that's how they did it. That's how they tricked us and switched the tables on us. They're using the same tactics over and over again. Man, that's all I wanted to add to it. I'm not going to hold up the show. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.
Okay, so you just repeat what I'm doing, and then you out of here. All right. Never again. Press 1. Don't do it again. Y'all better do something different. Don't just repeat what I say and what I'm about to do. And then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now you gone. You better come back. You better come harder than that. Take a lot more work than that. Emmett Till They all, you know, people love, they just do this. I don't know why. I told you I don't do it when I first got on the air. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. I'm here to say there's a huge connection between those bodies over there and our brothers and who was eliminated, our military personnel who was eliminated and handed over to the caustics. Press 1. At the Vatican, at Vatican City in France. Press 1. At Vatican City. Press 1. You hear me? There ain't nobody saying that. Don't even try to copy, Kev. You better come with your own shit. You better come with something that's catchy, cool. I'm not impressed no more. Press 1. Look at your neighbor and say, he ain't impressed no more. We gotta do better. This nigga ain't impressed. Oh, shit. Yeah, good. You know how to repeat what the videos just told you. Good. Kev, good. Reconstructing an epidemic. Reconstructing an epidemic. Press 1. We got to be able to read through the lines. Again, this is 1862 to 1868. That flood, I think this was the 1862 flood. What you see in the Mississippi flood, what you see every time I get on Hitler and that look like Hitler and I get on that important stuff, they always try to lead me back into some shit I already know I said. Press 1. TC. You feel me? Just they always try to lead me back over just what I just said. I said they look like the Nazis to me. Say something about that. Say something about that. I said they coming over here. It could have been them. This Nazi regime was already over here. Press 1. How did they get over here? And then when they got y'all in FEMA camps, now listen to me. What's out there? What's out there? A bunch of buildings that's empty. Press 1. Now you see it. What's out there in the world now? A bunch of empty homes. Y'all all in FEMA camps. Y'all all became slaves for the Red Cross. Through catastrophe. The West Coast went through it in 1860s. Y'all went through it. They just did it in sections, different time zones. Now, what happened when you was up in them camps was the worst war ever. Press 1. Bunch of empty buildings. What was they doing? Tearing them down. Y'all seen how clear those video was in 1927? They got that video right there. When you was up in them camps, guess what? They moved right up, right off them ships, right off them Navy ships, and right up there and stormed. No, they wasn't fighting nobody. They were just destroying things. You was in the camp. Most of your fighters and your men, they died in World War One. Press 1. Most of them, they died in World War One. Most of them because if they all went to war, the black military in World War One, they died overseas. That war wasn't fought here, so they was taken on ships over there. They was taking on ships over there. That's why Emmett Till's father, the Hellfighters, and those different black army, those men of bronze, are identified. You know, most people just got letters say their husband died at sea. They died in a war. Gave him a story and he died. The submarine hit him or something. Facts. So from 1865, this was already in full effect. 1865, they was already doing this. What you seen Hoover and them doing, that was already preordained. Press 1. They already knew how to reconstruct an epidemic, which is really a war. Freed people, like many other 19th century Americans, may have purposely hidden those infected with smallpox in public view. You know how they say during like Diary of Anne Frank, they was hiding niggas. Maybe those suffering with smallpox were also hidden because freed people feared northern and southern doctors would visit sick former slaves. And who knows? The initial outbreak. At the same time, the freedmen, I don't like calling them slaves, arrived at the nation's capital in 1862. Smallpox broke out in the city. Horses and buggies were traveling. Some free slave clothes dosed their bodies with tar to ward off possible infections. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm gonna have my team look over. This is just ridiculous. I can't even read. That's ridiculous. It just shows the mind frame and what it takes to get you up out of here. You know. And then you can go back and watch any of those videos of the past and realize, like, damn, they really wanted us up out of here? Yes, sir. That's why a lot of these blacks that y'all know, a lot of these people, not black, but foreigner. Somebody was talking about Hitler's Youth yesterday. What did they call it? With the children, the military brigade, young people, and we was talking about orphan trains and orphan army. What was we talking about yesterday? Because of them kids, man. You know, them kids, like the Mormon kids up there, Utah, all them kids know how to shoot. You don't know what them kids do. You don't know why people dying. You don't know who these people are. Just riding around, walking around with a Bible, talking about you cursed. You don't know who them people is. Them niggas can be killers, kidnappers, press 1, all type of shit. No, not Boy Scouts. Hitler's Youth, orphan trains, orphan army. What y'all know about that, though? You know, we had an orphan takeover right here. All this in the early 1900s. Most of these people were killers. All that shit we seeing at the World Fair and where all the black people at, they all look weird. Why they all looking like? Because that's military.
Unknown caller.
That's military. They just waiting. And they filming this shit. Remember I told y'all it's all on tape, just like the Nipsey thing. Everything is on tape. Everything that happened. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air, what up?
What's going on, Professor? It's Coop from Chicago.
What's up, town?
Hey, I'm in the middle of my commute, but real quick, I just wanted to call in and say, as far as like infantry goes, the origin of the name infantry is like child soldier or child warrior. And also to add to that, insubordination is punishable by death in the field.
So what is insubordination?
So if you disobey a lawful order or any type of order while in the field, you can be executed on the spot. So a lieutenant or somebody could have told one of the hellfighters or any of the soldiers, hey, go over here, go do this, or go over here, go do this. They could have simply said, I don't think that's a good idea. Executed on the spot.
What about they said they was told to denounce they nation and accept this, and they said no, they'll be executed.
Yes, absolutely. Say anything. Say you're no longer men of bronze. You can't call yourself men of bronze anymore. You have to be this. Many of them could have denied. Whole battalions could have said no to that.
Yeah, and but it's executed.
But that's all I want to add. Like I said, I'm in the middle of commute.
Thank you for that, champ. Thank you. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. People who loyally said, nah, I'm not denouncing my country. Press 1. Hitler's child army. And I think that's who's looking over you this whole time. Y'all ever notice you like, who's this little kid police officer? Like, who the fuck is this little 19-year-old punk? You know what I'm saying? Y'all people, we got to get it together. Hitler's child army. And you don't think all that's related? You don't think all that's related to the takeover? And then what? They took over and then what? And then when they flooded you out, all those empty homes over there, what you think they did? Roll the tape. And then the way they were shooting tape and orchestrating history within this time frame, press 1, they were making it seem like whole wars was going on, and a lot of these wars were nothing but people playing with remote control cars, shooting tanks at the other tank over there. Pow! Orchestrating history to make you think you have one. Oh, you came from Africa. It was a World War I. It was this one. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. That's why I always thought, why would they make a movie like Toy Soldiers? And then some damn toy soldiers. No, literally.
Unknown caller.
Toys. And them little World War II films and stuff like that, flying around and shit like this. World War I. Them is... Coffee Kush TV. Excuse me. Cairo University. Mr. Gillespie, the professor on the line. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's good, Kev? This is Eric from Milwaukee. I just wanted to tap in real quick. I'm listening to you, and I'm researching at the same time. I sent you a text. It's a picture of this poem that was written in 1901. It's called NIGGERs in the White House. And it basically, if you read it, it basically describing everything you saying to understand how we were in control over a lot of different things here. Basically how they...
You texted to me.
I'm sorry. Just a few minutes ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let you look at... I just was researching, man. I found it. I'm listening to what you're talking about. I'm looking into the floods. And, you know, I got my family from Mississippi, so I really connect with the message going on today. So this just prompted me to just start studying. I'm looking at Hoover, and then this ended up popping up. So it's just interesting of how these people look at us, and it's the take of, I guess, how people looked at us in 1901. As we are in control of things, and you know,
even if you look at Wilmington and what they said afterwards, no longer would these people have power over us, and it was a takeover of the republic. That's when they did it. It was the late 1800s, 1900s when the swap came. You know, and we became.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you too, King, for listening, man.
Peace.
Peace. You can't do nothing but respect that, man. Thank you for not letting the professor's attitude hinder you from doing the research and coming and saying, damn, this shit, he right. Because he researching something and it's saying NIGGER in the White House, and that's exactly what it's saying. It's saying things at the White House looking mighty curious. Ends running everything, White House furious. Ends on the front porch, ends on the gavel, ends in the dining room, ends at the table, ends at the sitting room, making all the talk, ends in the ballroom doing cakewalk, ends in the East Room making mighty. Oh my goodness, these people crazy. And that's how they seen you. You're great. So they had to, when they pulled the sweep in the reverse, make you feel like the worst amphibian around. He called you a monkey. You want to support the broadcast, want a special shout out at the end of the show, hit the cash app. My cash tag is Gills Gang. Support the real. You feel me? Kev Gills got a call. Got a call. Expect the real. You know? Still working. They took my channel and I'm still working. And then they don't even faze me. That's just work. That was for y'all. That was for y'all. The people who saw that work, that's for y'all. I don't gotta say it. I'll let them say it. Press 1. They was mad. They was more than mad. They didn't like to work. This is not their country. They came to work. For the landowners, for the planters. We'll get out there and do that. They wasn't doing nothing where they come from. And then then this happened. You know, them dams and those floods really, well, let me just say this. Keeping you in a panic and a peril state of mind keeps this machine running, if you know what I mean. 424-209-9506 is area code 424-209-9506. My cash tag is Gills Gang. Yes, ma'am. That's what it is. Shout out to y'all. Open borders, the entry of military age foreigners into, that's right, to be trained to destroy Americans, not just America. That's why in order to be, when you go to LAPD, all the Latinos, when you go to LA, all the Latinos is LAPD. Young dude. A lot of people ain't even got no paperwork. This is your United Nations. When foreign people handle your banking, like India and stuff like that, and Asia and these little things, your policy control force is ran by little ass kids who don't have no inclination of law. Not yours. Press 1. They're intruding army. That's what they are. LAPD, that's an intruding army. That's an army. All they do is wear black. All they do is chase people around for driving infractions, murder people, write up stupid reports, set people up, go in people's house. They don't give a shit. This is Gestapo. Y'all been to Gestapo since y'all got here. They're not the only one. In every Afro-American neighborhood, the Nazi regime is prevalent. Press 1 if you agree. You see them. They got nice faces too. Oh, hi. How y'all doing? Just eating right here. As soon as you drive off, you know what they think. Come on, G. That's your Gestapo. Press 1. Shout out to my supporters in my Cash App. We gonna keep it rolling. Shout out to my supporters in my Cash App. That's your regime right there, walking right up. The people who hugging that American flag with that fringe on it, talking about you need to stop committing crimes when you ain't did nothing, but you tired of seeing your people being killed for the dumbest shit ever. Press 1. And really most of the things they're getting killed for is illegal for them to even pull a gun out on you. Press 1. But because we so ready for being crump and ready to get some money, some crumbs, press 1. You don't know how to fight for your right. You know how to sue yourself because that money don't come from those police officers. It come from the state. So they ain't doing nothing but draining the estate in which you pay taxes for. So it's a continuous cycle of indebted servitude for, all right, they beat your ass and you just gonna say, I pay your taxes. They're gonna say, so what? I beat your ass, you pay the taxes, and I'm gonna beat your ass some more. Press 1. That shit don't mean nothing. You want to sue them personally. Damn. 424-209-9506. I'm sure somebody out there want to call in. I'm going to keep those phone lines open for a bit so I don't get up out of here, so I don't feel like I got out of here too late, too early. It's 2:34 on the East Coast. 424-209-9506. You should be seeing, you should have something to say. First of all, I see why a nigga quiet with me. Nigga, yeah. Yeah. Press 1, yeah. I see why people be quiet, because they're not really doing no research. When you do your research, it'll make you mad and cause you to be like this. It'll cause you to speak like this. You will have no shame in your game, because it's a shame that more men, the protectors of our community, don't think like this. And mentalities ain't where they supposed to be, but watching Kevin Samuels trying to tell women on not how to be a woman. Press 1.
Unknown caller.
You should be lighting these phone lines up. That's what you should be doing. Press 1, Coffee and Kush TV. You on the air, what up?
How you doing, Kev? This is Crystal.
What's up, Crystal?
I was calling because I had took these notes before when we were doing you were doing a video about about Wilmington.
Okay.
And we were talking about the soldiers, and so I had looked this article, and it's about the soldiers in the First World War, and I just wanted to read a little bit of it to you.
Go ahead.
I think it's okay. I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. It says, as many soldiers approached the end of the first 3-year tour of duty in the late 1863, the Union decided to use peer pressure to keep soldiers from leaving the Army. They offered regiment perks, and a certain percentage of the original band of men stayed for another tour of duty. Men were pressured by their fellow soldiers to stay and fight, a decision that they most likely would not have made on their own. After the tour began, some of these men would join ranks of deserters. As often happened during the war, certain men found a way to make a career out of deserting. They were known as bounty jumpers.
Bounty jumpers?
Bounty jumpers. Yes. That made me think. I said, dang, so they went from bounty jumpers to bounty hunters? Okay, hold on, let me finish reading. It say bounty jumpers were paid to substitute for a man who had been drafted. The bounty jumper would collect the money he was due to be sent from his new post. From there, most bounty jumpers would stay only a few days or a mere hours before deserting and repeating the process with another person.
Oh, so they were stealing identities, joining the military, getting the money, and doing it again, and doing it again, and doing it again, and doing it again, and doing it again. Well, that's how you kill black people, and you just do it again.
Boom, bro.
And it's the boom. Yeah, it's a
boom. You can say they wouldn't. Yeah, say they deserted, and then you hear me. And then they say, well, I'm here to take his place. Yeah. And then they get the money, and then they said they started giving out regiment perks. So not only was they getting the money, they were getting the regiment perks. So I started reading further. I said, what was the regiment perks? The regiment perks was estates and stuff.
What's the estate?
Well, yeah, it was things that, like, say if the bounty, the deserter owned land or something like that, and he deserted war, they would get everything. Because
oh my goodness! Yes, this is why all the soldiers deserted. They got them on this.
Yes, yes, because it said most soldiers, they were sent to work camp.
And stole all of them?
Yes.
That's
yes, at work camp. We know them concentration camps. Bam.
What made you do? Damn.
Yeah, and it's also because I said, dang, when I cut the TV on and saw you on here, I almost missed class. I said, dang it. And I said, wait a minute. Them is the notes I took because it said something about them. They was tattooing them, the ones that were deserters. And so they tattooed so was visible so everybody could see their war crime, that they were deserted for all to see. And it said that they will be executed for those crimes. On January 7th, 1864, Lincoln spoke out against the treatment of the deserters when he showed mercy towards a deserter named Henry Andrews. It said that he felt, bad because he felt bad about shooting his own soldiers because he said it would lead to a butchering business.
Soldiers killing, colonels, presidents killing soldiers for profit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Because I just started thinking about it. I said, okay, so what they were doing was saying people deserted. And so I said, okay, so that's easy for them to steal somebody's name like that because all they have to do was send another. Because it said they were staying hours or days. So that means all they would do is come say, yeah, I'm him. Get the money and disappear.
They just go sign up.
Yeah.
Go to the office. Go to the court. Go to the county clerk.
Yeah, so they were known as bounty jumpers. So they sent the bounty jumpers for the bounty hunters. I mean the bounty hunters for the bounty jumpers, which we know turned into the police, the bounty hunters.
So killing for estates.
Yeah, and their names.
And their names.
Like you said, yeah, when you're somebody in your family went to war, all the women would get with basically a soldier at their door with a note say, "Hey, he gone, here you go."
Damn.
You know, not knowing that they were murdered in what they would call a work camp.
They could have been murdered in gassed at a camp.
Yeah,
I believe that was like the Holocaust.
Exactly. Those work camps were concentration camps.
Yeah, that's what I think they were.
I do too. I
How
really
else
do.
would you claim all of these people lands and stuff like that just like that?
It's crazy.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. That's important.
Yeah, because I'm on the Civil War now. But I'm looking up because I want to keep going back into where, you know, where they found that mass grave, all those soldiers with the yellow flowers on them that they said were jockeys, and you know where I'm talking about that?
No, talk to me.
Oh man, dang, that's in my other notes. Okay, I gotta go find. I think I wrote them down. I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah, but what happened? Yeah, you can keep it short.
The Civil War. If there was at the I'm trying to remember because I've been doing so. Wherever they were having like a race, a derby, right? And the jockeys, most of the jockeys were all black. When this war had broke out, there was an uprising with the men somewhere, and they ended up many years later finding a mass grave of these people, of black men, who they with yellow flowers pinned on. They said that they were soldiers, and when they found them, they like, well, these were soldiers. What happened to them? They were like, oh, they were sick. So they kept looking more. They like, no, they were shot. And so I kept researching it. They just lined all them people up and shot them.
Really?
Because they were revolting against the war. You know, it was the Civil War. And I don't know why this article about the bounty jumpers had led me to them, because I guess it was linked to the Civil War and all of that. But this article that I'm reading, that I just read to you, is about, you know, World War I. 1863 is when they started doing that, about, you know, the desertion and just seeing people just to stand in, just to say, hey, okay, I'm here. If you ever worked a job before, they have to have just so many able bodies to count and say, okay, 1, 2, I got enough, let's go. You know, when they really didn't have that many people, it was just somebody coming, standing in for a while and leave. And but yeah, that article is about 1863, and somehow it linked me to the Civil War. And then I started reading about those black men that they found in a mass grave, who they try to say was jockeys that got sick, but they were actually soldiers that were murdered and put in a mass grave during the Civil War. I gotta find it, because I want to know exactly where it's at, because it's when we were studying Wilmington, so it has to be. I'm gonna go find it and call you back here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love that. Yeah, information 424-209-9506. How they made the Jews wear the yellow star to identify them. Yeah, what did she say? A flower? Could have been a lily. Could have been something that symbolized that stuff. You absolutely right. That's what I'm telling the fellas, bro. Y'all got to get on it, because these sisters, bro, y'all brothers got to get on it. The brothers don't like to talk to me no more, because I'll be on this shit. You feel me? I can get it. I can do all that extra shit anytime I want to. But this shit right here, it just lets you know who's studying on who ain't. Yeah, show people, press 1. Show people, yeah, but not too many people study. A lot of people wait for it said. A lot of people wait for Amanda or Kev or this young lady or somebody, when it's you too. There's only so long a person can hang out before they got to show themselves, right, Brittany? One mic disappeared. Where one mic at? One mic always floating around. Don't never do his work. Hey Kev, love what you do. Don't ever do his work. Where Wish at? Always on the Gamer channel. Kev, what's up, man? How are you? Don't never fuck with me on this channel when it come to putting their mind to something. I can't do it. Where these brothers at? This, that's that. The niggas, the one, that's for the sisters to agree with me, bro. All that other shit, bro. I be the fellas. Danya Allah in the chat room. Water World right there. What y'all learning? We talking about concentration camps, not flying cars. Water World. Not flying car. we talking about you extermination program, stolen legacy. Okay, the Pan-African shit ain't real. You got all these avenues to work under to work towards an argument of a stance. Where you at? Where you at? Press 1. No need to be shy. It's a time to be strong and say what's on your mind. You feel me? Where you at? Todd, where you at? You supposed to be learning. You ain't got no damn learning disability. You got no damn learning disability. We got the most critical expose right here. We freestyling. We freestyling. Stalin, Germany, France, and all of these things. All that stuff happened right here. We be hollering about restitution or reparations and really don't understand what happened to us and how we fell as a nation. Mitchell say Lily White law. Let's study it real quick. Thank you for pointing me in the right direction. You see that? That's the difference. Lily White law. Let's see what that is. Ain't no need to post it on your Instagram, Miss Taylor. There's no need to post it on your Instagram when you're right here at the row and you can call it in. Press 1. How you posting Kev Row topics on your shit and you ain't calling in right here? You learning all that on your shit, but you gotta learn how to discuss it right here at the row. Press 1. That's weird. What y'all doing? So y'all just gonna feed, y'all gonna take care of Gil's info and get the praise for it and not turn your work in? Y'all cold. The Lily White movement was an anti-black political party movement within the political party, Republican Party of the United States. It was a response to the political and socio-economic gains made by African Americans following the Civil War and the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which eliminated slavery except as punishment for a crime. The 13th Amendment did not eliminate slavery. The 13th Amendment enslaved you. The 13th Amendment, the Bill of Rights eliminate slavery. God damn it. You don't need to amend anything. The 13th Amendment is there to enslave black people. Remember, when a catastrophe happened, it was illegal not to work.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
It was illegal not to work. You know where you went? You know why we was hiding from the local police? Because you going to jail. You going to camp. You know what happens at the camp? When you not at work, you would be a slave. You know what they say happened at the camp? You go to that camp, you never come out, kid. You better run, nigga.
Unknown caller.
All this happened in 1900. All that other shit is there as a fear tactic. Your slavery and your enslavement came. It's right here in your face. Prove me wrong. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. Kevro University, what up?
What's up? This is kind of a little bit off topic, but it's still within like the mass grave.
You can't be off topic today, sorry. You can't be off topic. I don't want to be on mass grades. If you're a new student, stay on topic. You don't have authorization to go off topic. I don't know you. It's on topic for you. On topic. Don't even get me prepared to go off topic. I don't even know how you even think you finna go off topic when I'm on topic. The World Wars, Red Cross, extermination programs, Afro-American to the Afro-American Negro. It's Black History Month. On topic. The Yellow Star and the Lily. Is that a movie or something? Talk to me, Mitchell. The Yellow Star and the Lily. See? See how I just said that? Then I said, could have been a lily or something. What's that? The Yellow Star and the Lily. Oh my goodness. It's a Jewish star. It's the Star of David. Press 1. Wow. Wow. A tiger lily. A tiger lily. Yellow Star of Bethlehem. You ready? Yep. Wow. That's why I had to research. I knew it. I'm like, yeah, that's like, it has to be, like, watch it end up being like the same Star of David or Seal of Solomon type of thing. Press 1. Tiger lily bulbs. And I bet you all of it has, it's no coincidences. Just looking at it, I can tell already. So that's dope. So if you wasn't working, you was going to the concentration camp. You was going to work blow your blackout. Press 1. You was working for that. I just want to let you know that. And they were estate stealing. So are we good for the day? I think we good. Coffee and Kush TV. Shout out to the 334 people in the
unknown
chat.
caller.
We got a student. Let's see who this is. Cavro University, Channel 54. You on the air? What up?
What's up, Professor? This is Rich from Texas.
What up, Tim?
Man, cooler, man. Appreciate everything you bring it to the forefront. I just called it this Sunday, an article from a black army in Kentucky. They were some soldiers. They were killed on January 5th, 1865. And, you know, they signed the 1865 on the 31st of January is when they signed the proclamation. They killed these soldiers, buried them. They don't know why, but the people that killed them was a last name. Let me slow down, my bad. Dude last name was Gorilla. And it was funny that y'all was talking about the guerrilla tactics and stuff like that. And it was like they ambushed these soldiers. They buried them. And the article just came out just a day ago. But I just sent it to you. And I'm going to get back to the back classroom, bro. My bad. You get short-winded. My bad, bro.
All right, bro. Crazy. But, yeah, I don't even take that. I mean, you can put it in my Discord and stuff like that. I'm not sending me nothing. I'm not reading that. I'm hoping the student could explain themselves. Giving it to me does nothing. My mind is somewhere else. Y'all got to do it. Don't send me nothing. If you ain't in my Discord, put it in the notes and videos. Don't send it to me. Y'all not stressing me out no more than I have to be. And when Kev Gills fall, y'all not there. So if you want to be there, if you want me to do it, go over there and put it in the notes and let me take a look at it. If not, you got to do it. And that's fair. I'm not trying to overwork myself. I already know it. You got to explain it. Not me. You. You're a man. If you can't speak for yourself, you dying. You are blind, deaf, dumb, and blind. If you can't speak what you studying, you just find it. Don't find things and send it to me. Find things, study it, and prepare yourself to speak it. I don't care if you long-winded. I don't give a damn. I got a life. I'm long-winded too. I've been talking for, let's see here, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Press 1. You talk for 5 seconds and out of breath. That's you. I don't know nothing about that. You read it. Take it back where you got it from. Get to do better somewhere else, because I need my students to understand. You know. Where one mic at? One mic. Where you at? Y'all cold, G. Y'all cold. Here's the opportunity. We're talking what we in. You said we got to explain how we don't got shit. Where you at? And let's explain it. Press 1. Let's explain it. Yesterday was 5 hours, see? Yesterday was 5, and you can't call in for 30 seconds? Shout out to my support team. Let me see who support me in my Cash App. I'll shout you out real quick. Yeah, I'm putting in a lot of work. Overextending you, and don't put too much on me. You got to go through something too. Sheila, shout out to you, Queen, for that. You, Mrs. Bertha Davis, shout out to you, Queen. Miss Lady, shout out to y'all, Queens today. Y'all on one. Miss Moore, shout out to you. Robin 713, call it in. Rand Potent, call it in. Shout out to you. Mr. Noel, shout out to you, King. Garland Bounds, shout out to you, King. Bertha Davis, that's love. That's you again? Oh, shout out to you, Queen. God bless you. I love that. I'm talking about. I give me a new computer, start recording, so my other my co-hosts can have they stuff in the background, and they're gonna become vocal pieces for my show. Press 1. Gotta just do it. Gotta make them do it. Just gotta do it. You know, we're gonna continue to grow and build the brand, the Urban Conservative. Channel 54 from the ground up is what we do. What up, Coop? Shout out, Coop called in yesterday and today. Hit that like button. Shout out to Amanda for posting my shit. And she be at work, so I know y'all can call in. You know, but that's all right. That's all right. You don't be like, Kev, where you at, man? Don't where you at me? Why am I out the what's the name? Because you don't like to talk. You like to look at my information. That's it. You really don't like to talk. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air? What up?
Hey, what's going on?
What up? Where you coming from?
I'm in Phoenix right now.
Oh, what up, champ?
How you doing? Oh man, I'm all right. You called me out there, so I gotta say something. I gotta be, you know what I mean? I can't be out there like that.
I'm on, yeah, because you know what? My support team take care of me. I can't just leave like that. So instead of leaving, I'm calling people out. Hell no. Come on.
Yes, you know I understand.
Yes, sir.
You know I get it. Well, I wanted to say, as far as that Jewish Star is concerned, I remember watching years ago when I was a young boy, the story of Anne Frank.
Yes.
And it's called the Diary of Anne Frank. They actually showed a lot of that history on how they was forced to wear the star to be identified.
The yellow star, though.
Yeah, the yellow Star of David.
But that's odd, because that's like, when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, a yellow star, that just identifies them as bright. But now that I'm like, wait a minute, we might be dealing with like a specific star, like Star of David, like you said.
Right. That's what they're saying. You know, we don't 100% know, but that's the story that they're depicting.
Right.
That they had to wear that yellow star to be identified, to show that, you know, these are the ones that are claiming Judaism.
Are condemned. And
or
then
condemned, right.
and they said Jude or something like that, saying that they were Judah, but they're really just the same people who's telling us this World War I history, the same history with the embankments of Mississippi and the night. These are the same people, the Jewish folk.
Absolutely. Now what I'm doing is it's on topic, but it doesn't really match the show. But I've been doing some.
I thought Hitler murdered them in World War II. What they doing here in 1927?
Say that.
I said
I don't know too much.
These Germans and the American Red Cross Jews, because that's who they are. I thought the Mississippi flood was before World War II. What are these people doing here?
From what you're showing, yes.
What are they doing in America before World War II? Before Israel's even constructed? I thought they was in Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Hungary, Germany.
Okay. I just wanted to prove a point. Go ahead. You got the flow, King.
Yeah, I got some things for you too. Okay.
Go ahead. You got it.
The Triangle Corporation. How they did a ploy in they were actually filming in this guy Cecil B. DeMille.
Y'all gotta speed up. I guess it hung up on it. Call back the Triangle Corporation. I don't know. Somebody said the Great Depression. Great question, huh, Brittany? How are all these Jewish people up over here down there in the South? Because you can totally tell that's different. What they doing here before World War II? You hear me? How many Jews was taken from Israel and did all the 6 million? They were persecuted. That's crazy because the church persecuted 6 million people too. Press one. They persecuted 6 million people too. It's time to start asking those questions. Putting that feet to the fire. They 6 million people. But never once did they include them both. Our soldiers died at Vatican City. In Vatican, in France. Ooh, I bet you they had a rug pulled up under them. Some of the Germans were there after World War I. Some of the Germans were where, Mr. Green? They were sent to Israel from Germany, Poland, and Australia. They came in World War I disguised as soldiers. Or did they come in World War I disguised as humanitarians? What do you mean disguised as soldiers? Why would they be described as soldiers? Fort Shaft, Arizona. Some of the Germans were there after war. Well, we found after World War I, during the war, before the war, even if Hitler owned dams, if Germany owned dams in the Americas, allegedly, then that power structure was already here. But I'm just trying to figure out, they would have to say, well, Hitler owned those dams. That's why we had to take them out. And everything got flooded. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would Hitler own dams here? That was never part of the story. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm trying to see exactly, They are who they say that the Hitler guy was. That's who they are as a collective. I mean, when you got the Red Cross as a concentration camp, and it's real, you know, then it's eager to say. And you got Herbert Hoover saying we have to eliminate black soldiers. That's what's important. Mr. Author, then you will end up with these soldiers in the hands of King Leopold. Press one. It'll give France control over them. Like, wait a minute. Why is France? You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say, but a lot of these brothers died in World War I, never made it home, and a lot of their lands and stuff was taken from them. And then enslaved. What'd you say in that chat room? Let me read that. Exactly, Kev. Extermination programs. They dethrone and usurped our everything through, what is CC? Then enslaved the survivors. What do you mean by CC? Let me see what you mean by that. Let me see what you mean by that. Hit the like button. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel. Support as much as you can. Hit the like button. Of course. Thank you. Shout out to y'all. Go cop a sweatshirt, a coffee mug, stickers, whatever it is. Oh, okay. Concentration camps didn't enslave. You got it. You got it. I got you. The largest flow of German immigration to America occurred between 1820 and World War I. That's where you got hundreds of thousands, probably millions of German, Poland, and folk coming in. Ellis Island getting programmed into what was being flooded out and taken over in sections or however they planned it out. But a lot of it was Army Corps of Engineers. My thing is, I never got why there were so many kids, like the orphans, like where all these kids come from. And then we learn Hitler's Youth or like the orphan trains, and then we find out they got a whole army of young men, you know. So people got to do their research. I hope people continue to awaken, stay in their word, and do what they got to do, you know. Don't send me nothing if it's not on my Discord notes and videos to where everybody can see and study and come up with it, like study together, you know. So I guess that's it for today. Holla at your boy Kev Gills TV. Shout out to my moderator. Shout out to the people who's in my cast.
Unknown caller.
Got a caller. We'll see what they want to talk about. See what's on their mind. Oh, they hung up. I'm up out of here. And as always, I holla.